Alright guys, welcome back to a new video. This is starting off from the end of the previous video. What we're gonna start doing right now is taking all the, unplugging the harness from the motor, and then from that we're gonna take off the turbo kit and take off the intake. We're just basically just gonna get it ready to get pulled, and yeah, see what's label everything, lay everything out on the table, and see what's up, see what we can see, and we'll find out the problem sooner or later. All right guys, so about 30 minutes later, I got a lot of the stuff out. I got the battery out, the catch can, most of the harness on top, the intake, fuel rails, everything out. Now what I'm gonna do next is pop this valley cover and see if I can see anything. Over here I just have everything on the table, and the fuel pressure regulator, intake, and yeah. Right now, from what I can see on top, I can't really see anything alarming, but let's pop this valley cover and see if we can see anything. So after opening up the valley cover, it looked good until I saw up here, and you can see a little bit more of that moon dust. I don't know why it would be up here, but the cam, from what I see, it looks fine. I'll show you guys the next clip with some flash in there. But the cam from here looks fine, lifters look fine, and the cam up here looks fine as well. Nothing out of the ordinary, but we can only see so much. So next step from here is probably to, I'm not sure, how to move the rest of the harness out of the way, and then get the accessories off from the front. And then well, before that we'll probably take off the turbo. You know, that's the baby of the build, we can't damage that. Probably take out the turbo, then the accessories, and go from there. All right guys, a few hours later, well, about like 2 hours later, intercooler off, radiators out, the nasty cuts, and crossover pipe's gone, turbo's gone, oil lines are just chilling there. I'm just chilling down there because that's the drain. But yeah, here's everything. I'd be clocking off for today. Radiator, and then just the table full of parts. It's not bad, and yeah, I think I might just call it off for today, and we'll see when we continue, either tomorrow afternoon or the next day, all day. I say it's a few hours from being out the motor, but we won't truly know until we get the, I say, well, no, we're pretty close. But yeah, I'll give you guys an update when there's another one. All right guys, it's the next day. Right now we have the brake lines unhooked. We took the ABS module out. Most of the harness is out. We disconnected the harness from the starter, and now the only harness that's connected, and if I'm not mistaken, is the transmission harness. And then next what we're gonna do is disconnect the drive shaft, drop the transmission cross member, and then drop the K member. So yeah, I'll show you guys that.
All right, so now what needs to be done is what we just did was remove the crossover for the transmission support. So on our setup, we had to get out not aftermarket, but just different bolts. For ours, they were 17 mils, but I think on the stock applications they're 15 mils. So it's there's 2 on this side and then 2 on that side, and then it dropped the transmission. But before I did that, we went ahead and disconnected the drive shaft from the diff yoke, and it's 4 of these bolts right here. I think they're 11 mils on our setup at least. So these are what holds in the drive shaft from the rear into the differential. So those 4, and then as you can see, I pulled out the drive shaft. I did have to drain the transmission, but it's all good. So right now it's being supported by the jack, by the jacks, just so it doesn't lean pretty hard. I'm gonna drain the rest of the fluid, and then we can go ahead and pretty much start lifting up the car from right here, from this support right here, and then from there to start dropping it. That's pretty much it. Another thing I went ahead and did right now was loosen all 4 of these support bolts on both sides, and it's pretty much clear to drop. Just waiting on the transmission to be drained, and then it's go time pretty much. All right, so a little update on what we've done. So we removed all 4 strut tower bolts on this side and that side. So now both wheels are sitting at an angle. That one's sitting at an angle, and then so is this one right here. So all that's left to do pretty much is to get to move all the brake lines out the way, and then we're pretty much clear to drop the motor. Just the 3 18mm that are on each side of the frame for the K-member, and then lower it down. Normally on a stock application, you could say you can lift it from this support right here, but the fact that we cut ours for our standard radiator, this is just flimsy as metal, so we're gonna have to lift it from down there, and it might be a little bit trickier, but we'll see how it works. And you lift it up, and then obviously having the motor and trans supported, then you lift it up, and then you lift the chassis up, and then that should stay theoretically down there. Just make sure all your grounds are disconnected, all that, nothing's connected to the chassis, because you'd be surprised how 35 gauge wire can hold up an entire engine. But that's pretty much all you got to do. We're just gonna start trying to figure out how we're gonna do ours, because we do have a tubular K-member on our car, so we have less space to work with. If we had the stock one, then you just literally simply have to put a jack in the middle of the K-member, support it up, then lift the chassis up, and then lower down the K-member, and then you'll be straight. But with ours, it's a little bit trickier, but we're gonna try to figure out how we're gonna do it.
All right, guys, so we're here right now after we remove the strut tower, the strut tower bolts, and then the six K-member bolts on each side. You can see right there, one 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 right there, and one right there. And then obviously your trans mount and everything drops. The only thing that we're seeing right now is that the fucking torque arm mount, it has a lot of tension on it, so we'll see how we get that out the way. But here it is right now. Next, what to do is to lift the car from right here, and then we can roll out the drivetrain from under. All right, guys, now we're lowering the car, 6-ton jack stands, and we're lowering it so the car can be chilling on those jack stands. All right, guys, as you can see, we got the drivetrain out. We have the car lifted on, like I said, 6-ton, or yeah, 6-ton, right?
6-ton.
6-ton jack stands. I wouldn't recommend doing it with those unless you have a death wish. And we have it lifted like that. It is sketchy, but it will be done. There's the trans card all fucked up. We'll fix that. But right now our main goal is to get the motor on a stand, and then later tonight we'll open it up and see what the fuck went wrong. All right, guys, a little while later, as you can tell, we got the engine on this little bed frame, and we're about to take off the heads and see if we can see any piston slap inside. And then there's you can't see it, there's a $2,000 trans right here. But yeah, we'll open it here in a few and see if we can see any piston slap, and then tomorrow we'll go buy an engine stand. All right, guys, we're about to pull off the head. Damn, the coolant.
I know.
Ignore the attention worshiper.
Fucking stinks. So, no real. Looks fine.
No piston slap.
Okay, we'll be right back to see if we try to turn the crank over.
Maybe lifters. All right, guys. As you can see, we have the engine on the engine stand. It's most definitely a sad sight to see once again, but like I said, we'll come back bigger and better. So right now what we're gonna do is drain the rest of the oil out and then flip her over and open the bottom end and see what really went wrong. So yeah, I'll show you guys that once we do that.
All right, so now we're beginning the process of removing this oil pan and seeing what goodies we find in the oil pan and how bad the rods are. But let's find out right now.
Get a longer extension.
Get these ones over here. Y luego you can get the extension. As you guys can see, we've been making a fucking mess in this driveway. But we'll see how it is, man. We're pretty bummed out what happened with the engine. But like we said, we're gonna make something better. And you know, that'll depend on how bad the damages are. Because if the crank is scored up pretty bad from the rod bearing, more than likely we're gonna put this engine on the back burner and just pull the 5.3 from the junkyard until we could do like a stroker on this or something like that. But if everything looks smooth and everything like that, and you can't feel none of the scratches with your fingernail, then I think we might be straight. But this is the moment of truth. Hopefully it doesn't spill oil everywhere, but we'll find out.
Look at all that magic
Jesus.
dust.
Nah, yeah, this engine was K, dude. Oh, fuck. Yeah, you can see more material down there. All right. Look at the pickup tube. Yeah, so more than likely, yeah, it was bearings that fucked up the engine. Hopefully the pickup tube is fine, and our oil pump. But I think more than likely I might need a new oil pump and a new pickup tube if I plan on running a different engine. But we'll find out here shortly. We're gonna get our hardware together just for the rod bolts and the other stuff, and I'll pick up the camera once we're back. All right, so we're removing the windlass tray now. There's only a few bolts left, and then we're gonna see if we can figure out, at least look to see how bad it is. Hopefully we don't have a bent rod or something like that, but we'll find out. Put it right here in the oil dump bin.
Not good.
They should have some play, but as you can see, that's where there's bearing materials right there. All right, we'll be right back, guys. We're gonna go get the proper hardware and the hardware for the crank, and we're gonna spin it over to see how it is. We'll be right back.
All right, guys, we're about to pull off the windage tray, see what else we can see inside. I mean, not the windage tray, whatever the fuck that is, and see what we can see inside.
God damn.
Way more magic glitter.
All right, so that means that that bolt that we dropped is still in there.
There you go.
All right, guys, so turns out the 6.0 is just fine. Oh, hold on, never mind.
Nah, that's fine.
So I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that's an oil passage galley, and guess what? Look, it's completely done. And then look, Jesus fucking Christ! And look at the bearing over here. We all thought it was number 7, but so far at least this is number 1, dude. Fucking cooked.
Number 2 did his
Number
job.
2 was doing all right. It was hanging in there. There's no like, it has some gouging in it, but I would have sent it for another like 80,000 miles easy.
So basically, what he's saying is that it's time for like a 402 stroker or something crazy. Most definitely expect a delay on the build, but it'll be back better and stronger. Now it's time to build that one. Throw some spray at it or something.
Yeah, so I guess we're gonna ask for some input from you guys. So disregarding the price, yeah, I'll talk the people down or whatever. There's a guy that's selling a set of Gen 4 rods and pistons for 6.0 for, I believe, $200. There's another guy on Marketplace that's selling a 5360 crank for $50. Should we swap in the new crank, the new pistons, and obviously balance it right for around, let's just say, breaking even at $400, right? Having a stout 6.0, right? Or should we let this one chill on the side of the crib, right? Pull a junkyard 5.3 for around 200 or so bucks, right? Just a short block, and do a complete stroker on this one while we just run and abuse the 5.3. You know what I mean? I would love to do either or, but at this point, since this is what I was banking on, whether I was just gonna slap new bearings in it, hopefully, or not, more than likely I have to get a new block, pretty much. Not block, but new rotating assembly. So I'm wondering, what should I do? Gen 4 internals or Gen 3 5.3, run it until that one blows up while I'm building and strokering out this 6.0, thinking, like he said, like my brother said, 402, at least to keep the stock bore, or 408 and above if I decided to bore out the cylinders. I still need to check the cylinder walls, so if they're scoring on the cylinder walls, then it might be a 408, 416, or whatever the fuck. But
427.
But just wanting some input. So right now, option A and B are still on the table, but I haven't checked none of the cylinder walls. So if the cylinder walls are banged up and everything, I might have to do a stroker and just slap in a 5.3 for now. Because along with that, I have a buddy that's willing to let me have a 5.3 block. And there's actually a guy selling 5.3 Gen 4 internals. So, you know what I mean? Like, either or. So we'll see what happens, though.
Alright, guys, so for the most part, cylinder 1's the only one that's been really fucked up. This one right here was on its way out, and this is the one that wasn't firing, so this is the one we're most excited to open up and see. So he's about to do that. Yep, most definitely spun a bearing. Oh, never mind, maybe not. Nope.
Are you serious, dude?
It's literally the one that's most, it's the best looking
It's
one.
one of the cleanest looking ones. Yeah, it's dirty right now because of our hands, but that's ridiculous, dude.
Alright, I'll be right.
Whoop.
Oh,
Whoops.
who wants the brand new Gen 3 internals?
It never dropped once right off.
Alright, when we're done taking everything out, I'll pick up the video.
Alright, guys, so I just got done pulling the balancer off. Just using one of the pulley pullers. And I guess I forgot to I forgot to complete the complete step pretty much. So I had to use a head stud to jam the reluctor wheel so I could be able to take off first of all the bolt and then the pulley. I was like, man, this fucking crank is trash anyway, so it's all good. But right now you have a more clear look of how bad the crank is. These are all like fucking like deep gouges right here. This one right here is fine, smooth as can be. This one has Doesn't really get stuck, but visible damage. Damn, fuck, I keep getting hit. This one, spinning 2, and then the fucking very last ones are the cleanest ones, which is kind of funny. Yeah, well, there's some wear on all of them, but more than likely what killed the engine was oil starvation. But I'll never know for sure, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, we're gonna do a brand new crankshaft. Well, not brand new to us crankshaft, Gen 4 rods and pistons, and just let her eat. Hopefully, we can make much more power than what we originally made. Right now, the bar is set at 515 to the wheel on 7 cylinders.
Fucking joke.
A joke of a number. Hopefully, at least with the Gen 4 internal Gen 3 6.0, we can make some steam. But we won't know for a while because we're just still waiting on getting everything done. But I'm pretty sure my brother said it before, but just expect a delay on the build.
All right, guys, we got the timing cover off. There's our oil pump. It looks fine. And then there's little play. There's more play than before though, so we might replace the chain. It's just an LS2 timing chain. So yeah, we're gonna take this all off, take the cam out.
All right, so right now we're in the process of removing the mains. We went ahead and labeled them just so we don't misplace them, because it's pretty crucial that you put them back where you got them from. So I labeled them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, facing forward.
1 being the one closest to the timing, 5 being the one closest to the rear.
Just so we could put them back where we got them from, just in case we don't put these back in right now how they are. So right now, just removing this one, and then we're gonna go down the line, and then we'll pop the crank out and see how it looks like.
And the way we're removing these is, hold on, moving fingers. We're putting a little pry bar. Hold on, oh, shit. We're putting a little pry bar right here and just boop, and they should come out right out. I know there's a certain tool that you can use, but we don't have that tool. And there's the bearing for number 1.
I can't really feel it right now because my hands are dirty.
Nah, there's no scoring. It just looks like it. And there's the crank. No scoring. But either way, all this is gonna get replaced. So once it's out, we'll show you guys all the everything.
All right, guys. So we ended up getting Gen 4 internals for our LQ4. These are flat top pistons. They came out of I believe Silverado SS. That's what my buddy told me. So I got the rotating assembly, the entire rotating assembly out of that engine. So I believe there's no need to balance the rotating assembly because this came out the same engine as these. So I just need to clean these up. As you can see, they're all fucking dirty, full of carbon and all that. So I'm gonna clean these up, have everything look cleaned, and just run them. I still gotta find out what the machine shop's gonna charge me for rod bearings, main bearings, and cam bearings. But I'm excited. Finally glad I got these internals. I was gonna buy them off my buddy originally earlier in this build, but I didn't have the money at the time to do it, so I stuck to my guns, stuck with this, and called it good. But I'm glad I got them now, and hopefully we can make some steam with this setup. I don't see why not. I mean, hopefully these can handle some decent power. I think I was told that maybe this rotating assembly can handle anywhere from like 800 to 1,000 horsepower. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm just waiting on the machine shops to see if I could get a quote, and then go from there. Right now, my brother's removing all the studs. We just got the top level to remove, and then clean it up and remove all this paint so we can paint it properly. We're gonna get a hot tank and everything, just because we did get some glitter all the way up on top here. So God only knows where there's more bullshit in the engine. So we're gonna get everything cleaned and have it looking good, because we never got back here. As you can see, it looks all fucking nasty from all the buildup on here. But But yeah, guys, hopefully you guys are excited for this. I guess you could call this V2. V1 was a fucking fail, but V2, hopefully V2 is better and makes some good power. I guess now we could probably shoot for 800,
1,000 fucker.
800 to 1,000 reliably. Now that we got these stronger internals, but yeah, in regards to switching the cam bearings, you can see the copper showing now. They're smooth, but I'm still gonna change them. Well, right here they're a little bit rough, but I'm still gonna change them just because I'm in here now, and I'm pretty sure it won't be that expensive to do. I could probably do it on my own if I had the tool, but I'd rather just have the machine shop do it and call it good, and just have this engine pretty much reliable, have no problems in the future. But yeah, guys, hopefully you guys are excited for this phase of the build. Call this V2 and see how this shit rolls.
Alright guys, here's the Gen 4 internals. The date is, what is the date? It's August, yeah, August 4th. And tomorrow we're gonna take everything that you see on this table to the machine shop to get hot tanked. I'm just showing you guys a little before. We are taking it to a shop called All Pro. They said they would hot tank the crank, the rods and pistons, and then the block. I'll go ahead and show you guys the block. There's the block. So that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna hot tank the block. They're gonna hot tank the crank, rods, and pistons. They said they would do it all for 140 bucks. So we're just gonna take it tomorrow, see how long they'll take, and then how good they come out. Next to do on the car is truly to do. What do we gotta do? Let's go over here. You guys see, we took it apart a little. We just did that to paint the engine bay again. You couldn't tell. And next to do is what we want to do is solid motor mounts, the trunnion upgrade, and then what else? And then obviously all the new internals, the new bearings. We gotta get the cam bearing tool. We gotta get some plastic gauge, and make sure we do everything right. And then once we get the car back up and running, we do want to go with meth. We're gonna go meth injection. So we are looking at kits right now. We're looking at a kit like Snow Performance or something like that. Their stage 1 meth injection kit, but it would help us out just because we are boosted. It'll help us out with our cooling issue and a lot more. We aren't 100% sure on it, but we do want to go meth. And then you can see the brake line right here. We are gonna do an ABS delete, and there's the frame damage that we talked about. It's not noticeable until you look at it closely. What blocked it from us seeing it at first was the ABS module bracket. Once we took that shit off, took the ABS module out, you can see it's loud and clear. But we are gonna do the ABS delete, the wood. It's like a little thing. I'll show you guys when I get the chance. But yeah, everything's moving smoothly. Now it's just after we buy those bearings, it's essentially the rebuild process. All right, guys. Here's the block in the truck now. We're gonna take it right now. Like I said, we're going to a shop called All Pro Automotive. They're doing a complete hot tank on the block, the rods and pistons together, and the crank. We are going to see if they recommend maybe decking the surfaces or getting the crank balanced. We were told it shouldn't have to be balanced because it all came from the same assembly. But the rods and the pistons aren't numbered, so we don't know exactly what way they go or in what order they go. But hopefully this is the last time you guys see this block this dirty, and we'll see how long the turnaround time is. And yeah. Alright guys, we're back from the machine shop. Well, we've been back for a day now, but the turnaround time was pretty quick. We were around 6 hours. And this isn't how the block came out. All the decking surfaces I redid, but the block itself did come out cleaner than it was. See all the yellow paint, most of the yellow paint's gone. And now all that's left is to sand down some of the areas, get the whole the block surfaces, front surfaces, everywhere we don't want painted, get it masked off. But this is the decking surfaces. They look different. They look the same before we sent it off. So in that clip that you just saw before, that's how they looked. And then when we came back, I just hit it with like this little abrasive brush. This one right here. Just a little like rubber bristle, 120 grit. I sprayed it with some WD-40 and just went at it. Went at all the surfaces, the head surface, top. They're all smooth. You can see the machine lines. The other side. And then the front. So now all that's left to do is I'm gonna just go over some areas a little bit more, like right here. Try to get that to this silver look. And then try to get rid of like these little patches on both sides. Right there. And then right here. And right here. But yeah, if you want your surfaces looking pretty good like this, just use like a little 120 grit abrasive wheel, a drill, and some WD-40 and go at it. And what's next to do is just mask off the block, lay down primer, and then lay down that yellow paint and see how it looks after. And also, here are the pistons. There they are, the piston tops. We aren't really worried about them. We're gonna hit them with like another abrasive wheel, get the rest of this carbon off. What we did notice is that these rings look brand spanking new, all of them. So we are gonna reuse them. We're just gonna measure the gap, make sure everything's within order. Rods look good, the crank looks good. Everything here got hot tank. The crank, it looks like they may have polished it. I'm not sure. But and then there's the mains. They numbered everything 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Yeah, everything looks good. I'm pretty happy with the results.